Assalamualaikum dear students of class 12th. As now we have completed a lesson titled Deep Water from the text Flamingo. Today we shall discuss its questions. Questions from text solved. Think as you read. Question number first. What is the misadventure? What is the misadventure that William Douglas speaks about? Answer. William O. Douglas had just learned swimming. One day, an 18-year-old big bruiser picked him up and tossed him into the 9 feet deep end of the YMCA pool. He hit the water surface in a sitting position. He swallowed water and went at once to the bottom. He nearly died in this misadventure. He nearly died in this misadventure. So that's question number first. Now question number second. What were the series of emotions and fears that Douglas experienced when he was thrown into the pool? What plans did he make to come to the surface? What were the series of emotions and fears that Douglas experienced when he was thrown into the pool? What plans did he make to come to the surface? Answer. Douglas was frightened when he was thrown into the pool. However, he was not frightened out of his wits. While sinking down, he made a plan. He would make a big jump when his feet hit the bottom. He would come to the surface like a cork, lie flat on it, and paddle to the edge of the pool. Now, question number 3 is, how did this experience affect him? How did this experience affect him? Answer. This experience received his aversion to water. He shook and cried when he lay on his bed. He could not eat that night. For many days there was a haunting fear in his heart. The slightest excretion upset him, making him wobbly in the knees and sick to his stomach. He never went back to the pool. He feared water and avoided it whenever he could. Now question number, again question, think as you read question number first. What was Douglas determined to get over his fear of water? Question is, why was Douglas determined to get over his fear of water? Why was Douglas determined? Why he was determined to get over his fear of water? Answer. His fear of water ruined his fishing trips. It deprived him of the joy of canoeing, boating, and swimming. Douglas used every way he knew to overcome this fear he had developed since childhood. Even as an adult, it held him firmly in its grip. He determined to get an instructor and learn swimming to get over this fear of water. Now question number second. How did the instructor build a swimmer out of Douglas? Right? Question is, how did the instructor build a swimmer out of Douglas? Answer. The instructor built a swimmer out of Douglas piece by piece. The instructor built a swimmer out of Douglas piece by piece for 3 months. He held him high on a rope attached to his belt. He went back and forth across the pool. Panic seized the author every time the instructor taught Douglas to put his face under the water and exhale, and to raise his nose and inhale. Then Douglas had to kick with his legs for many weeks till there till these relaxed. Then Douglas had to kick with his legs for many weeks till these relaxed. After 7 months, the instructor told him to swim the length of the pool. Now, question number 3 is Douglas still felt terror stricken when he was alone in the pool. Douglas still felt terror stricken when he was alone in the pool. The remnants of the old terror would return, but he would rebuke it and go for another length of the pool. He was still not satisfied, so he went to Lake Wentworth in New Hampshire, uh, divide off a dock at Trigger's Island and swam 2 miles across the lake. He had his residual doubts, so he went to Midi Glacier, divide into Warm Lake, and swam across to the other shore and back. Thus, he made sure that he had conquered the old terror. Let me repeat this question again. How did Douglas make sure that he conquered the old terror? Answer: Douglas still felt terror stricken when he was alone in the pool. The remnants of the old terror would return. The remnants of the old terror would return, but he would rebuke it and go for another length of the pool. He was still not satisfied, so he went to Lake Wentworth in New Hampshire, divide off a dock at Triggs Island, and swam 2 miles across the lake. He had his residual doubts, so he went to Midi Glacier, divide into Warm Lake, and swam across to the other shore and back. Thus, he made sure that he had conquered the old terror. Understanding the text, how does Douglas make clear to the reader the sense of panic that gripped him as he almost drowned? How does Douglas make clear to the reader the sense of panic that gripped him as he almost drowned? Describe the details that have been made the description vivid. Answer is most important question. Douglas gave a detailed account of his feelings and efforts to save himself from getting drowned. He uses literary devices to make the description graphic and vivid. For example, those 9 feet were more like 90. My lungs were ready to burst. I came up slowly. I opened my eyes and saw nothing but water. I grew quick, panicky. I was suffocating. I tried to yell, but no sound came out. Question is, how did Douglas overcome his fear of water? This is also most important question. How did Douglas overcome his fear of water? Answer: when Douglas grew up, he took the help of an instructor to learn swimming. His training went on from October to April. For 3 months, he was taken across the pool with the help of a rope. As he went under, terror filled him and his legs froze. The instructor taught him to exhale underwater and inhale through raised nose. He made him kick his legs to make the relax. Then he asked him to swim. He continued swimming from April to July. Still all terror had not left. He swam 2 miles across Lake Wentworth and the whole length to the shore and back of Warm Lake. Then he overcome his fear of water. Now question number 3 is, why does Douglas as an adult recount a childhood experience of terror and his conquering of it? What large meaning does he draw from this experience? Answer: the experience of terror was a handicap Douglas suffered from during his childhood. His conquering of it shows his determination, will, power, and development of his personality. He drew a large meaning from this experience. In death there is peace. There is terror only in the fear of death. He had experienced both the sensation of dying and terror that fear of it can produce. So, the will to live somehow grew in intensity. So, the will to live somehow grew in intensity. He felt released, free to walk the mountain paths, climb the peaks, and brush aside fear. Now, another question. Find and narrate the stories about conquest of fear and what people have said about the courage. For example, you can recall Nelson Mandela's struggle for freedom, his perseverance to achieve his mission to liberate the oppressed and the oppressor as depicted in his autobiography. The story We Are Not Afraid to Die, which you have read in class 11th, is an apt example of how courage and optimism helped a family survive under the direct stress. under the direct stress. Answer is, in his autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom, Nelson Mandela tells the extraordinary story of his life. He brings vividly, he brings vividly to life the escalating political warfare in the 50s between the African National Congress and the government, culminating in his dramatic esca- escapades as an underground leader, the notorious Revonia trial of 1964, at which he was sentenced to life imprisonment. He recounts the surprisingly eventful 27 years in prison and the complex, delicate negotiations that led both to his freedom and to the beginning of the end of the apartheid. Mandela also struggled against the exploitation of labor and on the segregation of the universities. He persevered to achieve his mission and to liberate the oppressed and oppressor. In 1990, he was freed from prison. The apartheid laws were relaxed. Mandela became the champion for human rights and racial equality. He also became the first non-white president of the Republic of South Africa. Think about the language. If someone else had narrated Douglas' experience, how would it have different from this account? Write out a simple paragraph on or paragraphs from this text from the point of view of third person or observer to find out which style of narration would you consider to be more effective. Why? Answer: the third person account or one from the point of view of an observer is detached and objective. Real life personal account is subjective and focuses more on the person's thoughts, feelings, and emotional response. I would consider the first person narrative style more effective as it is quite authentic and depicts everything faithfully. Now, the sample paragraph from the point of view of a third person observer. A big bruiser of a boy yelled, "Hi, Skinny, how would you like to be decked. With that, he picked up the 10-year-old teeny boy and tossed him into the 9 feet deep end of the YMCA pool. The kid struck the surface in a sitting position, swallowed water, and at once went to the bottom. Watching all this from a distance filled me with anxiety for the kid. I rushed towards the side of the pool. By the time the boy had risen twice to the surface, but being unable to grab a rope or support on the side wall, he went down. Right? This third person. Before I would bail him out, he sucked in more water and went down third time. I at once jumped into the pool. The boy's legs were limp. All efforts had ceased. I carried him on my shoulder and swam to the side of the pool. He was made to lie on his stomach. His back was slapped gently but firmly to make him vomit the water he had swallowed. He responded to the first aid and measures and soon regained consciousness. Now there is writing, you will try it yourself. Thank you very much.